Lois and Clark. What's
What's
up,
going on,
man?
man?
How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, so
we
yeah.
we're gonna talk about Lois and Clark, right?
Lois and Clark, yeah. Yeah, we are going back. This is gonna be a trilogy or maybe 4 episodes, I don't know, of Tempest. So watching this and then oh, hang on. You are listening to
Harmony right there.
what's yeah, harmony? A perfect harmony? I
Perfect harmony.
couldn't hear you, but I knew what you said.
Remember
I
that
knew it.
shit whenever we
I
played in
do.
Kelvin, we
I do.
we're
It
like,
was
hey,
perfect
tell
harmony.
step back to the back of the auditorium and tell us how we sound. We got done playing the like 30 seconds of the song. What was it?
Perfect
Perfect
harmony.
harmony.
Perfect harmony.
Like, hell
Yeah.
yeah, man. Hey, you achieved perfect harmony. You know the sound is good.
You know the sound is good if you
You
achieved it,
know it.
because very few people can achieve perfect harmony. Perfect, perfect. That's like saying
Perfect.
library.
Nah, we don't say library.
I
Like,
know some people who do. Anyway, we are talking Lois and Clark. See, every time I hear the theme song for Lois and Clark, I hear of a podcast called Lois and Clark. It's a podcast that I listen to. These guys are great. Uh, Alex and Matt, I believe. I'm not gonna look it up, but they're amazing. But they have this. Matt does this. It's the theme song of this show, and it's all
it's
Lois and Clark, it's our jam. We're talking about Terry Dean and Superman.
it's another podcast.
Yeah, it's another podcast called
It's
Lois
a
and Clark.
rival. It's a
No,
rival.
not at all. They're just talking about the same things. They're sharing the same love. God, LJ, I was trying to
Sorry.
fight somebody.
I know.
He's like, they want to
That's
fight.
funny.
There are other people who have podcasts.
They're like, oh, that's it, dude. It's over, dude. I didn't even know. I thought we were the only ones doing podcasts these days. Like,
No,
we
I know I
invented
told
it.
you this was a new technology. I just figured
I
it out.
know.
So
Fuck, man. I was excited about that.
So I think this
Mhm.
was our second episode. Let me look. We talked about Lois and Clark on an earlier podcast. I want to say we
We
watched the
did.
pilot on our
We
second
did. We
episode.
watched the very first one, the very first
Yeah,
episode that came out.
let me find out when that was. Oh my, that was our first episode.
What?
Our first
The
episode
pilot?
was on December 20th, and it was Lois and Clark. It was the pilot.
How could we forget that?
I don't how could you forget
I
that?
know. We talked
I
about
told
it.
you
I
to keep up
remember
with
it.
this. It was
Oh,
your job.
I
I
put
pick the programming, I do all this stuff. You just had to remember this
I
one thing,
I
and
set
you
a
messed it
calendar
up, LJ.
reminder, and it didn't remind me. Sorry.
That's okay. We still got a little bit. You can still remind us on the day. You'd be like, "Oh,
Oh,
by the way, we've been doing this for a year." So, I know I said in the beginning, but you had never seen any of this before we watched it together, right? You said you knew it was
no.
on maybe, but you never really checked it out, right?
No, no, I mean, probably snippets of the show, kind of flipping through channels, and that was about it. Yeah, not really ever watching full episodes.
Yeah. Man, when they say that Lois and Clark, it's our jam, this shit was my jam
Yeah,
in the 90s.
dude, seriously. It seems like
Oh,
such a long time ago because
there's
everybody
this go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say because everybody in the show looks so young. Of course, when you like look at or when you watch shows that are older, you're like, oh my gosh, that's like one of your first thoughts is that everybody looks so young.
Yeah, yeah, oh, man, and Terry Hatcher looks,
Yeah,
she looks pretty
beautiful.
great, uh,
Yeah,
and Dean Cain is handsome,
he
he's a
is.
handsome
That I mean, that would be how I would I don't know, maybe picture how Superman would look, very
Yeah,
I mean,
is
compared to the original.
well, I don't know, you can't
Uh,
compare. I don't think
well,
you
I
can
meant, like,
compare.
just the same attributes and, he's
Sure,
tall and he's got a good build and he looks like a man's man and,
a
I mean,
man's man.
it's fucking Superman, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so that's cool. That I really watched all this shit whenever I was younger. It really meant something to me. So look at what we've got here today.
Now you remember all this then, because when
I
I watched
do.
the show, I remember you bringing up parts of this one
Mhm.
before,
Yeah.
but it when I started watching, I was like, "This is a really cool episode. I like how they did this one."
It's
Yeah.
man, and so we'll watch all of these kind of in a trilogy. This one's sort of a Christmas one, so we're gearing up for the holidays. We're kind of recording this I don't know, let's see. Wednesday, November the 8th. Hopefully it should be up pretty soon after this. So anyway,
Tomorrow.
I'll try. So this one's kind of a lot going on, so I'm not gonna make unless you no, let's have you. Tell it to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
Alright, tell it to okay, so they are, uh,
this
about
one,
to about to celebrate something, and
this
then
one's
all of a
very
sudden
difficult. So
it is. So basically, they're Lois and Clark about to celebrate something, and then some random dude comes in and says that
it's
he
Christmas.
oh,
Yeah.
I
Isn't it? Or is it National Bosses Day? I have no idea.
well,
I,
I
I
didn't pick up on the Christmas theme.
I thought that they
I
were.
just they were exchanging presents for something. I thought it was like that's what I figured it was like somebody's birthday or something.
Yeah, it could be the Chief's birthday because they're talking about what are you going to get the Chief. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
Then it's it follows a guy that came from the past who built a time machine and went to the
H.G.
future.
Wells. Yeah,
H.G.
exactly.
Wells.
So have
As
you?
soon as he said his name, I was like, "Okay, that sounds like a really old name."
Yeah, and it's
H.G.
a real person too. There's a real H.G. Wells, and he wrote the book called The Time Machine.
I didn't I didn't
I
put
know
2
you
and 2
didn't know
together.
that. I know
No.
you didn't know that. I should have saved that for
It's
later, you know?
trivia
Damn it, I gave it away. See, I just have to go through the whole podcast without saying anything about trivia time, and then I could probably get you.
Yeah, no, I'm prepared for it now, baby.
But he shows up and Clark is like, "Hey, no. What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Look, I
Yeah.
know you're Superman."
Dude, that's it I know. All of a sudden, he was like, "Nope, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta
Yeah,
go."
he's like,
And then
"Okay,
that one thing
sure,
was
I
like
hope you." Lois is like, "What is going on?"
"What did he tell
Yeah,
you?"
Lois automatically knows, that something is happening. Uh, let's see. Yeah, he says he's a he's H.G. Wells. He's time traveled. He's left his companion in the park with the time machine, and this guy
Dude, I was
volunteered
like
to go.
yeah, exactly, that's never a good idea. You never bring
Yeah,
somebody back from the future with you.
yeah. Back from the Future. There's some Back to the Future references in here.
Dude, the flux,
Yeah, I
not
have it in my notes
capacitor,
here.
not the
No,
capacitor,
let me see.
the
Yeah,
flux
it's the flux facilitator.
facilitator. I was
He's
like, "What
like
are
the
we
flux
facilitating
facilitator.
training or"
Yep,
this is
facilitating trading,
yeah, that's it,
facilitating
dude.
time travel.
Yeah, whenever I heard that, I was like, "Wait, that sounds a lot like the flux capacitor."
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was like, "Of course, this" but, yeah, Back to the Future had already come out by this point, right? Because this is, like,
Mhm, mhm.
the '90s and Back to the Future came out in the '80s, I think? Yeah,
I
the
think
original one
so.
did.
1985.
Yeah. Damn.
Gotta
I
get
was a little
back in
baby.
time, back in time.
You
Boop,
were a little
boop,
baby?
boop, boo, boo.
You were a little baby in 1985?
You were too, a tiny human being.
I was 25, dude.
I like how Tempest gets out. Oh, yes, you were 25, I know.
Yeah.
But, how Tempest gets out and he just immediately comes across a mugging.
Dude, I thought he was gonna save his ass, and then he did, right? Because he was just happened to be there, and
Yeah.
the guy that was mugging him was like, "Oh, shit, I gotta get the hell out of
Excuse
here."
me.
And then he freaking mugs this dude, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What is happening here?" I didn't quite understand early on what was really happening with Tempest because I was like, "Why is he?" I guess he just thought that maybe he was because he knew he was gonna go back to the future that he could do whatever the hell he
He could do
wanted.
whatever he wanted? I don't know. I don't know. He was just exploring. He had never seen anything like this. Let me just say right off the bat, dude, to be able to talk with you about this episode, like, it's amazing. I, these I felt like I was the only person watching these in the town that we grew up in. It was a small town, and I felt that I was the only person watching this. Like, none of my family watched this with me.
Yeah, you were it.
And so it's like Lois and Clark. I was talking to hang on. I'll cut this out. I was talking to Jody and Dalton about
No
it,
shit,
and
dude.
I would be like, "Hey, did you guys watch Lois and Clark?" And they were like, "No, no, I've never." And I was like, "It's awesome. It's like edgy." I remember
Yeah.
being a kid and thinking like, because it was
Damn, man,
the
this is like
'90s.
yeah, you were like, "This some new technology shit right here, man. We need to get on
Yeah,
board with this."
but it was TV. We hadn't had anything Superman since, well,
The original
Superboy.
series, yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay, I didn't know about a Superboy.
Yeah, there was an in-between thing that was, funded by the Salkinds, the people who funded, Superman, and anyway, long story. We'll get that when we watch the Superman movies. I know we watched the first one, so we'll see, what happens. Hmm. Anyway, I watched this, and I believe this to be a Christmas episode or his birthday. Who knows? We'll have to go back and look and see. Is there a Christmas tree?
If you had a poll and you said pick Christmas or pick, like, another holiday or maybe a
Another
birthday,
holiday? Yeah.
I'd have picked birthday. Yeah.
Your birth? No, fuck birthday.
Well,
I like Christmas.
I meant based on what I, like, observed in the show because I did not pick up on
Oh,
anything
I see what you're
Christmas.
saying. Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
asking me.
Oh.
I was like if I could,
No,
if
no,
I would
I
pick one holiday out of the year to have, I was like, oh, Christmas. Everybody's
Christmas
a little
all day,
nicer
every
in,
day.
in Christmas. I like to
Yeah,
believe that,
yeah.
man. Here in Austin, whenever I was working at some place, like, people weren't nicer. The customers were not nicer during
Oh, I bet, dude.
Christmas, and it's
That's 'cause
mm.
that's 'cause
Anyway,
you li that because that's 'cause you're in a big city, man. That's why.
I the big old city,
God
working
damn.
on town. Anyway, so Tempest immediately mugs a guy and takes his watch and throws him against throws him against the wall.
And
Okay,
I
we
like how
find
it's like,
out.
"No, no, no," and all he does is throw
Yeah,
him.
yeah, he just throws him. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so they decide that they're gonna go ahead. Oh, okay, they're gonna follow H.G. Wells, and Lois Clark's trying to get rid of her. I like how he's just like, "Hey, come on, let me help this. Let me
Dude, I
help
know
this."
because he's like 'cause
Yeah,
he doesn't know what he said.
yeah. Let's see. Something happens. I have in my notes here. Oh yeah, it's the mugging or something, and oh yeah, Tempest goes in and he gets all these fucking guns from the
Yeah.
from this actor who we've seen in everything.
Yeah,
This
I did
particular actor.
recognize him.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
everything. And
And
so he
it's so
gets all the
stupid
guns.
because it whenever he tells them initially, he's like, "Well, what kind of gun?" Or like, "What do you recommend?" or whatever, and he pulls out his semi-automatic
Mhm.
weapon. And he's like just flashing this thing around, unloading it, loading it like right in front of him, dude. Like, and
You get the
he's right
idea that
because he's
he's
like, "You're
done
such
this
an idiot."
before, that this has happened
Yeah,
before.
seriously.
Because
I was
whenever he
like,
takes the gun, he's like, "Ah, again,"
yeah.
you can like
It's like, damn it, is shit happen again?
but Clark hears the bullets and comes rushing, and he gets the
It's
gold
too late.
chains from the guy. So, and then Lois finds out that H.G. Wells needs gold. Of course, it's got to be gold.
No
You
joke,
know,
dude. Gonna be like one of the most, limited resources on the
why
planet.
can't we change? But gold is a good conductor, so I guess that makes sense.
Yes. Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't think about it that way. That's a good point. I thought it
yeah,
was just because, like, for example, like in the original, Back to the Future, it was plutonium. Like,
plutonium.
what the fuck is that at Walmart? You know? Like, you just go buy
Well,
that shit.
no, he's got to get it from
Libyans.
the Libyans.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Nah,
that's
dude,
cool.
you can go buy plutonium. Oh, here,
Mhm,
you want some? I'll order it from Amazon.
mhm. I know. It won't just 1995.
Yeah, no shit,
Four
dude.
easy payments of 1995.
That's it.
All right, let's see here. So, uh, let's see. Car crushes off. Oh, and
Mhm.
HG says,
He
"Someday you'll understand why, Miss Lane." You
Yeah,
know?
like, why he takes off all the time like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. I love how whenever Tempest puts on those glasses that are
Dude, it
totally
reminds me
from the 90s of something I used
yeah,
to wear.
oh, yeah, like the, Jim Belushi era.
No
Yeah.
way. No, they're like round. They're like, don't you remember those
Eh
Oakleys that used to have the thin bar?
Oh, they were rounder.
Yeah, dude.
I thought they were more square. Because whenever I saw him put it on and the music played, I immediately thought of Terminator.
I
I
thought of
I
blues,
did.
I thought it was blues, but I can see how that could be.
Yeah,
Maybe they were ripping that off.
bastards.
No, "You bastard!" See? Just like that.
Bastardos.
"You
Oh,
bastard!
you're
Come
talking about
on!
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was thinking of Titanic when he was like when he shoots his friend and he's like, "Bastardo."
Bastardo." We used to say that all the time. I love we get the first time that it's, "Hello, Herb,"
Herb.
and, HG, Herbert something Wells,
Oh,
you
shit, I
know?
didn't realize I thought he just called him Herb because I didn't
I'm
put 2 and 2
sure.
together. What the
Let's
fuck,
see.
man?
Let's see. Hang on. Let me go over here.
Herb
We'll see.
H.G.
H.G.
Wells?
Wells. Let's see. H.G. Wells. Herbert George Wells. Look at that. So I was
Damn,
pretty
dude, that's
close.
crazy.
Herbert
He
Fred Herbert
shit, he died in
Bell Bonds.
1946, yo.
Damn.
1946. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he was born in '66.
So 1866.
Yep.
He was born in 1866. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's awesome because that's the year that they go back to. Oh
Oh,
shit.
shit, they do go back to well, originally, it was
Yeah.
1966, and he switches it, right? Because now we're at that part where they take off,
Right.
because he goes
So
back and he sees, Lois and Lane with H.G. Wells at the time machine.
like, check this out, just a bit of stuff. I don't know if fuck it. Like, I'm
Trivia
not gonna
time?
say I'm not gonna say this for trivia time. I'm just telling you so I don't forget because it's not
Bastard.
written down. But, so it was, 1996, right, whenever this aired, and so if you went back to 1966, that's 30 years. Superman is always 30 or 31, you know? And so 1866 to have H.G. Wells being born in that year, that's quite the coincidence, you know?
Yeah, that he put that in there, and, of course, I didn't know when he was born, and
Did you
so I
find that?
thought
Let me look.
yeah, what?
1866. My
Yeah,
gosh, LJ. Look at you
and
with your own piece of trivia time.
he put so, yeah, right, because he said 1966, and he's like, "Well, shit, let me just go back 100 years earlier."
But that would be let me see when this aired. Oh, okay.
This 90
March
something.
March 26, 1955 or 1995. So what's 1995 966?
9966.
So Superman would be 29.
Damn, he's old.
An
29?
awkward pause. No.
We're 29, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
10
Yep.
years ago?
Nope. That's
No?
you. That's you, dude. That's me. I'm talking like 9 years
Damn, dude.
ago.
Too
No, I don't
young.
even know.
You're too
I'm
young, dude.
21.
Damn, you just turned 21, huh?
Yep.
Fuck yeah, dude.
If you're young at heart. Do you remember that? That
What was that?
Christmas. I don't remember his name, but anyway, we're getting off track here, LJ. Gosh.
Get
We're
back on
talking about
track,
we got a
dude.
long ways to go, dude. We gotta hurry up. Just kidding. So this is one of my favorite scenes in all of Superman TV and film. Where
When he goes
Tempest
back in
is
time?
like, no, where Tempest is like, you and Superman created all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? And
Oh,
he's like, oh,
yes.
she doesn't know right now. Oh, this is good. This is really good. This is
Yeah,
one time that someone says that this is really good. Okay. So just remember that. And
first time.
yeah. And so he's like, so, Lois, did you know that in
I don't
future
know.
you are regarded as the same level as Superman? I don't have this in front
Books.
of me. Yeah.
Books that have been written,
Yeah.
statues.
There's even a breakfast cereal.
Yeah, right. I was
And
like, "What
he's
the
like,
hell, dude?"
but the one question that everyone wanted to know, how dumb was she?
Yeah, dude. That part's a little fast forwarded because they 'cause they, go back in time. He said 1966, he changes it to
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
1866,
You're right, you're
right?
right. There's the
And
Smallville
they go to the
robbery.
saloon.
That's right. We
Yeah,
we missed all that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I jumped ahead.
unacceptable, dude.
But anyway, they're in Lois and Clark. Okay. Superman comes and just builds another time machine, I guess. And so
Dude,
then yeah.
wait, before because that's right, she sees the instructions that
Yes,
H.G.
that
Wells
H.G.
left,
Wells left.
and he's like, "Oh, shit, man, this
It's gonna
this
take
might
a
take a
couple
couple of hours."
hours. Imagine how fast Superman would have had to
And
have
I was
been
like,
going for it to take Superman a couple of hours to do something. You
to
know,
build it.
that and H.G. Wells did that in his lifetime.
Yeah, right?
You just
And that's a
uncovered a
good
big
comparison.
you just uncovered a big flaw right there. But anyway, maybe Superman. So get this. Okay, let's for the benefit of doubt, let's just say that this Superman, this Dean Kane, he hasn't had all the training in the Fortress of Solitude. And, he doesn't know all the secrets of the 28 known
Mm.
galaxies, so he's just kind of more of a normal man. And he says it later on, and we'll get to it. But he says, Clark is who I am. Superman is what I can do,
Mm. That's
you
right, because
know.
he tells Lois that.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay. So, but anyway, yeah, you're right. They build a time machine. Clark goes away, or Superman flies away. Clark comes in with a bag of gold, and he's just like, Superman already filled me in on this. And I
He
was
said
talking, yeah.
he said
He's
they
like,
had he had to go take care of a volcano in China.
China.
I was like, "What
So,
the hell, dude?"
yeah.
China.
So
China.
he tells Lois that Superman's already filled me in. And this is kind of like a throwback to the the what is it? Adventures the adventures of Superman.
A
And,
throwback to that?
with George Reeves, you remember? And it's like, "Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's"
Thing.
do you remember the black and white? Because it would like,
No.
back then, dude, like, in those TV shows, everyone always thought that, like, Clark Kent and Superman were, like, best friends. And they're always like, "Mr. Kent, can you get a message to Superman?" And he's like, "Well, I can try." And it's like, "Okay."
Like,
And it's like
sure.
and he's like, "Oh, no worry. I just talked with Superman." It's like, "Clark, what are you doing here?" "Oh, I just met with Superman. He filled me in. I'm good to go. I think what we need to do is this. Luckily, I have this big bag of 24 karat gold." And
It's a
Superman just goes, "Where does Superman get the gold from?" He just goes and robs some mines. If so, where does he get the sack? Too many questions, LJ.
yeah, record time, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, let's hey, do you mind if we pause here so I can pee for real?
Fucking A, Casey Jones. I gotta pee too.
Okay, okay, we'll take a pause. I'm not stopping recording, I'm just pausing. So, hey, have you seen that meme? I know we just took a pause. Did you change shirt?
Yep.
Where it's like, "I'm alive, I'm dead, I'm looking at you, I'm watching TV, I'm looking at
Yeah.
you again, fuck you."
It's
It's the
it's the dog. It's the dog, right?
yeah, it's the
Because he's
dog.
running around. He's got the freaking like zoomies, dude. It's like, what the
Mhm,
hell? No, I
mhm.
didn't.
It's a great shirt.
It's a great shirt. Not a gray shirt, a great shirt.
So anyway, Clark it just comes back with the 24 bag of a bag of 24 karat gold. No questions asked where it came from. He's just like Superman gave it to me. And they put it in the time machine. They travel to 1966 and it's totally
Go
back to
back
the
in time.
future. And
Yeah,
they want
right. It
they're like,
is, dude.
"Oh, we're in Smallville." But how does the time machine move places? Weren't they in Metropolis? I thought if it's just a time machine, can't it just go he just turned back a dial. They didn't turn back anything that said Smallville 1966, did they? Or did I miss that?
No, it was just like, you type in like a Back to the Future, you
No,
type in
no, it
the
was a
dates.
scrolly thing. He was a scrolly
Oh,
thing.
that's I mean, yeah, it was a scrolly thing, but you just put in the date you want to go back to and
Right,
boop,
but they were
like
in
a year.
Metropolis. So how did they get to Smallville? And
Oh
here's another
shit, that's
time I'm
true.
about to blow your mind with another time travel situation. So, if you travel back in time from one particular point, that doesn't mean that the Earth is gonna be in that particular spot in rotation at that time of year. And
That
so
is true.
you only have a certain window, and they did that in the Justice League, Zack Snyder movie, that they only had a certain window, I guess what would be, his sequels that never came. Anyway, another time.
Well, like pilots when they're flying and they travel long, I mean,
Yeah,
for hours,
yeah,
the Earth is rotating as they're
yeah,
in
for
the
sure,
air, so they have to calculate and catch up with the damn where
for
the city's
sure.
at. It's
I think that's
weird.
awesome. And so imagine like Superman flying towards Earth, like he would just land like this, but to us it would be like he's just
Yeah, right. He's
he's
like,
just so but he has to calculate like
that's a
this, like and then he has to like flip so he can land. That's good. That's gonna be our new handshake. It's like Sub-Zero.
yeah, dude. That's,
Or Hadouken!
or no, get over here. It's like, get
Get
over here. He
over
throws out
here.
an arm, huh? Yeah, he throws out an
Mhm.
arm.
Anyway, so they're in 1966 and they see the Smallville robbery of 1866, and they suddenly see someone dressed as H.G. Wells and
Shit,
Tempest,
this
and
has
they
happened before.
they immediately figure it out. That's a little convenient.
Mhm. Right, right. They're like, "Oh shit, wait, we're in the wrong time period.
Yeah,
We're
they're like,
100
"Oh,
years earlier."
1866. Oh, okay. All right,
Perfect,
cool.
dude. I
Yeah,
already
all
knew
that
that.
gold. Yeah, we got enough gold to go back and forth." So they
Right.
never
Bye.
specify how much gold is really needed.
Dude, I know because he takes the gold chains and then all of a sudden when they're in 1866 and he meets a
Jesse
famous
James, yeah.
famous character, yes, Jesse James, he says, "Oh, we need about what did he say?
300 of
400
these.
or yeah, I was like, "God, that's a lot more
The
than
bank, that's where I got
them
this one.
chains."
Yeah.
He's like, "Hell yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
over there."
The weight,
He's like,
yeah, for sure.
"I know everything about you. I've
Yeah.
read all the book."
Hey,
Yeah.
fun fact, I've told you this before. I'm related to Jesse James, is what I've been always told. My grandmother's last
You
name was, yeah, I've told you that before.
you have said that before.
Yeah, my
It
grandmother and her mother used to say that as too. So used to say that too. I don't know why they would have any reason to lie because their last name, my great grandmother's last name before she married was James. Or
shit, great.
my grandmother's last name before she married was James, and so that would have to have been her father was related to Jesse James
Damn.
somehow.
Somehow. How did that happen?
I don't know, people had sex and had other people.
I was talking about how I was actually talking about how we both said somehow at the exact same time.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant maybe somehow was Jesse James, how was he in Smallville, Kansas?
I like that where he's like asking him all the questions. He's like, "Ooh, you're good."
Yeah.
Like,
You're
"You're
really good.
really
That's 2
good."
times. That's 2
Yeah.
times. So someone says, "You're
That's
really good." Right? I said that earlier, right?
you did.
Okay.
And then the bank gets robbed.
Yep, then the bank gets robbed, and, let's see what happens.
It sounds like robbing banks in like the mid 1850s was pretty
60s?
easy fucking
60s, yeah.
mid
Well, especially if it's just
1860s.
Marshall Kent. He's not he's
That's
not really
true. He's like
no
the
one's gonna
only
really
cop.
Oh, I've gotta say, I
Plus,
love how they make up his parents, like Clark's
yeah,
parents.
that is
They
true.
do
They
that a
are.
lot in
They
this series. They kinda make them to be different people and stuff like that. It's really cool. Or maybe just in this episode, maybe it just stood out that much in my mind. I will say that after Tempest shows up, uh, Jesse James with the automatic pistols, it's almost like Jesse James has erectile dysfunction. 'Cause
oh,
his
because
his his brother Frank is like,
he
"Oh, come on, there'll be another one. Oh, don't let it get," and he's
yeah, he's like trying to talk him up like he's just so down that somebody
yeah,
better came along.
and he's like, "You're right, I'm feeling a little better. In fact, everybody hands up, this is a hold up." So he holds up the bar that eventually gets Marshall Kent shot, Jesse
Dude,
James.
yep.
Clark can't show any of this. He can't technically. I thought for a second rewatching this, I was like, does he turn into Superman? Or does
Well,
he stay? But if you look at the Flash,
it
he
is.
stays as Clark. It's a brown Flash. So like his suit or whatever. He just ties them up and I love how he's like, well, is there a doctor around? Well, Dr.
Nope.
D's on vacation, of course, naturally
I know.
gotta
I
well,
know.
where's the
And the
nearest
nearest
doctor?
ones, yeah,
Kansas
in
City.
Kansas. It's like,
And
what
he's
is it, like 3 hours away or some shit like that?
yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
4 hours away on horse or 4 days away on
Oh,
horseback is I think
shit,
is what she
4
says,
days?
and she's like, "I'm taking him to Kansas City," and then we see one of the first, Dean Cain lip pierces, what do I have it?
Lip
Yeah,
pierces?
where what did I call it? I have it written
I don't
down
know.
here. He's like this. He does that a lot.
He's like, "Fuck this shit, man. I gotta take this dude to Kansas City."
Yeah, no, he's like, "I'm taking him to Kansas City." He does that.
He does? I have
Yeah.
to watch it again.
Anyway,
Taking him to Kansas City. I don't get it.
okay. So now here we are. Now here we are back in good old 1866, LJ, where
Oh,
Tempest
good
is
old
holding up Herb.
1955. Nope, it's good old 1955. 1955, you wake up.
1955? You're my ma, you're my ma, you're my ma. But you look so, so thin.
Dude, that's a classic right there, man.
Yeah,
Always will be.
let's see. So, I like Tempest dialogue. He says to Herb, "Herb, would you work faster with a few bullets in you?"
Dang.
As Lois is sneaking around. It's pretty funny. Mm. So now we're in the barn where we have the my favorite moment of all time. The duh Clark Kent is Superman.
Dude, that was harsh, yo. And then he takes his glasses, H.G. Wells glasses.
Yeah. He was like, that
He's
was
like,
almost even worth the trip.
"My my man, a reporter,
Superhero.
Superman, superhero."
Yeah, and he's like, hello. Yeah. I that now that I've watched Twin Peaks, that reminds me. Hello. I know you probably hadn't watched Twin Peaks. That's okay. That's
Nope.
okay,
I've
LJ.
been to Twin Peaks, but I haven't
Really?
watched it.
Boom, 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 boom. No. Anyway,
Nope. Is it a movie or a show?
it's a television program where these little tiny kids taste the leprechaun. Come after me, Marshmallow Man. Come after me, Marshmallow Man. I want to taste your Lucky Charms.
Shit, dude, I've never ever heard of this
You don't even
show.
remember that from Austin Powers? I did a whole bit, LJ, and you didn't even react.
I remember that. I remember Austin Powers saying that.
Okay. Anyway, we're in Lois and
Only
Clark.
2 seasons?
No, but there's more. Don't even get into Twin Peaks right now. Don't even look at it, dude. Don't even think
Uh,
about looking. Just shut your phone
oh,
off before
shit, dude.
Judy comes after you.
Now I know everything about Twin Peaks, man.
Judy is gonna come after you. And those of you who know, know. And those of you who don't know, don't. It's a lot.
Don't
I mean,
don't do
anyway.
it.
Anyway, here we are.
Are you good, dude?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Okay. After a commercial, after all that, okay, sorry.
Okay, reset. Cut this out.
Yeah.
Okay, see.
So they so H.G. Wells and Tempest just leave Lois in 1866. That's what happens. And then Clark comes in and it's like, "Hey Lois, I thought," and she slaps him. And it's like, "Don't even pretend that that hurt.
Yeah. I know.
Superman."
She's like, "Bitch, you lied to me."
So then we cut to commercial. It's like a he does that lip purse, it's like,
I don't need to
mm.
pay attention to that because I don't remember seeing that.
Well, you're not an actor, LJ. So you don't have to pay attention to the minute details.
I am an
Anyway,
actor, homie.
you are an actor.
I am, you know what? Show me fierce.
Oh yeah. I thought you said fear.
I said fierce. It's okay.
Ah.
I'm not an actor, that's why. Yeah, that's
Anyway,
gangster.
it is gangster. So they're automatically back in 1966. They don't give any explanation about how they got there or how much gold they used. And so
They just
he's
do it.
explaining to her like, who he is and why he really did things this way. And she's like, she thinks she's galactically stupid. She's like, "Do you think I'm galactically stupid?" And she
Oh,
says
that's
that
right.
because Tempest said, "The most
Earlier.
galactically stupid woman in history." You know? So they
Of
go
course, she
to
wants to know.
Schuster Field. Say that again?
I said it, and I was like, "Oh, sure, of course she wants to know." You know,
Yeah.
she asked Clark that.
Yeah. She wants to know, like, why why did he lie to her? She makes it really seem so easy, like it was some easy decision for Clark, you
Mhm.
know?
Right.
Like, and it we get to it later, and she realizes that it wasn't. It couldn't have been an easy decision. So anyway, like let's see, the they rent a car. They rent a car and they drive, and
She's
oh,
like,
but
"Why you" what does she say? She's like, you're Superman, you don't need a fucking rental car." You know,
yeah,
you just do whatever you
but
want.
she says, Lois says the third time, "Oh, you're good. You're really good." So she says that the third time. That's the third time that was said in this thing. I noticed that. I don't
Hey,
think that's been in trivia time. I just think that I
mm.
noticed that.
You think that's on purpose or
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I just noticed that watching it today again. So
mm,
uh she gets so mad at him, and Clark leans in the window and he's like, "Look, Superman is what I can do. Clark is who I am." And I think that is such an awesome line for that character, because that's totally what it is, you know?
yep, because he is genuinely a really good dude, and
Yeah,
he really does keep everybody's interest at best.
our best
He
interest
really
in
does.
mind, yeah.
Best interest in mind, yeah, whatever. But
I
yeah,
like,
no, that and that's the character, that's how he was created.
mhm. I like how he's like, "Glasses, suit, secret identity, seemed like a good idea at the time."
It's like, I thought it was gonna work.
Yeah.
Hey,
So they
wait.
travel. Go ahead.
Mild-mannered reporter.
Mild-mannered reporter.
Superhero.
So they
Shit.
travel to Smallville, and they come to Schuster Field. Schuster Field, that's named after Siegel and Schuster, two different people who created Superman.
Oh,
Yeah. So you'll see the lip purse again. They're going into Schuster Field, and they fly up. Very obviously, they're both just standing on a platform. The platform rises over the fence, it goes over, and then it
dude.
comes back down. And the camera just, doesn't show the platform. That's all it
Because
is.
I initially, whenever I saw that happen, because they're both so still and
Yeah.
so calm, like, they're just
Well, that's
I
how
was
they
like,
did that shot.
how did they harness them and
They
not
weren't
make them go
harnessed. They
like
were
this?
standing on a
Well,
platform, and
I
they
know
and the
not
camera was not
now.
capturing.
What the hell, dude? Because I was like,
But
"How'd
he
they get
does it.
that?"
He's like, "Here, hang on."
And then he's like,
He does the lip purse.
"Here, hang on."
Mhm.
Dude,
Just like that. Just
that
like
was
that.
perfect. Mm.
Anyway, okay. Flipping the page, got some ASMR. Hang on.
He's like
We'll go
it's
through
good,
this.
it's good.
Uh, Herb is not going to let Tempest harm the baby Kal-El, and he says he'll fight him to his last breath. And I swear. And then Tempest slaps him and says, "I can't have you swearing in front of the baby." Let's
Yeah,
just
dude,
talk
that's
about
jacked up.
Tempest, the character. Like, he's
He's
got the
pretty
best
wild.
lines. He's just chewing up scenery as he's going along. Like, every scene he's in, anytime they cut to Tempest, it's a
He
killer line.
It is, and he's the it's very entertaining when he's in the scene, when you're watching him in the scene, because you know something crazy is gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gotta say
It's not
something.
normal with that guy. It's not.
They're back in 1966, and they go to the Kent farm, and a young Martha Kent, they've made her up again to look young now, instead of
Yeah.
being like a, Old West person. So, anyway, she looks great, and buttermilk, they give Clark some buttermilk. There's a really awkward scene
Mm,
part where, okay, Jonathan comes in and says, blah blah blah. They figured it out that Tempest are hanging around Schuster Field. They're gonna try to grab the baby. They ask them if they've seen the baby, and they say no. Okay. And Martha says, we can't, or I can't have kids. And Jonathan steps in and says, we can't have kids. and I thought that was such a character moment for Jonathan. I know it's such a simple little thing, you know what I
Well,
mean? Like where Martha says that, "Oh, I can't have kids," and Jonathan steps in and grabs her hands and says, "We we can't have kids." You know, like,
yeah,
he is with her. He is
like a
with her in that
partnership.
moment, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I just thought that that really shows that character of Jonathan Kent, like, the person who raised Superman, you know?
yeah.
Like, he's like, it's us. We're in this together." Anyway, Martha says she can't, doesn't know how she can tell, but she can tell that something is wrong with Clark. And
Mhm.
so they begin to
Even though she
drive and
doesn't
trying
know
to,
him.
yeah, she doesn't know him. There's a weird moment where he gives her a kiss, and the whole time I'm watching this scene where they're at the dinner table, I'm like, "Clark, shut up. Stop trying to give this away." He's like, dad, sir, mo
Yeah,
ma'am." You know, I'm
man.
like, "Clark, what the fuck? You're Superman, dude. You can't,
Right?
that's the
He's, like,
best that
trying
you're
to
acting."
yeah.
Anyway, anyway, let's see. We can cut all this out, I know, for real. I will cut all this out.
I well, well, let me see, I'm trying to think. What the fuck is
So
next after that?
now we're about to come up on where, uh, Tempest is rocking the baby and giving the baby kryptonite, and Clark is
That's
starting to
right.
fade away. So Lois goes up, and they eventually fight and all this stuff. Uh, Clark
And she
freezes the gun, and his head fades away like this.
oh, shit, where you going, dude? Where'd you go?
Oh,
Oh, shit, dude, I thought you
that's
disappeared.
visual effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, like
that
that, but he still blows, so but no
she
head.
whooped his ass, yo.
Yeah, Lois is amazing. I have here
I
in
felt
my
bad
notes
for him.
that, bad head effects and Mortal Kombat sweep.
Dude,
Yeah.
seriously, dude, she does do a sweep, knocks this motherfucker out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's gotta weigh double what she weighs,
Yeah.
you know?
And I
He's
like,
she still
he's
fucked
like,
him up.
"Oh," Lois is like, "I didn't know how long I would have to wait for you." And or Tempest is like, "Oh god, give me jail, give me the electric chair, anything, but don't
I
make me listen to
don't wanna
this."
hear this.
He's got the
He
best
does.
lines. So, last time we talked about a grandfather paradox, I think we were talking about Loki, where,
We were
like,
talking about
he gives
Loki
the
when we
book
talked
to
about that.
himself, and that starts his journey. So, in this, Superman is the streak that flies across the sky that
Yep.
Jonathan and Martha see. So, it begs to differ, how did that happen the first time?
Well, he was in a spaceship coming in.
But he landed earlier, apparently, according to this episode,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Superman was the streak. He flew through the air and made that, he flew so fast that
Well,
it made it look, and so, you know what I'm saying? It's a
yeah.
grandfather paradox. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, there's no possible way to know that, and one can't exist without the other, but there had to have been an origin at some point, you know?
Well, and that's what he had to recreate to make sure that the baby was noticed.
I guess so. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if he created that, then who created him?
Hmm.
You know, who was the streak for his? If he was the origin for this one, then who is the origin for his?
I don't know. That's a good question.
We'll
'Cause
never
something
know.
had to have happened.
We'll never know, LJ.
That's true.
So, I did like to note, or I did notice that, when Jonathan and Martha found the baby, Jonathan said, "My lord."
He did. He said, "My lord." Yeah. When Martha was holding the baby.
And isn't that like, you know, because Superman, of course, is the Moses and Jesus kind of, I'm sorry to say this, but it's like the, You know, it's the
But
same and they say it
it's
over and over.
biblical.
We'll get to this
Yeah.
at the end, um, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, it's right here. It's, where Lois asks, "Am I galactically stupid?" to H.G. Wells, and H.G. Wells says something awesome like, "No, you're blinded by love." And it's a story that will be told throughout time, and younger generations and generations will love this story of your blind love.
Yep.
And it's the same thing we were just talking about, like how it's the same stories as Moses and Jesus and everything told over through the passage of time. Like, it's like yeah,
Yep,
those
and
people
everybody that
believe.
hears the story after and continues, it's I mean, it's just like classic.
Yeah, it trickles down. Anyway, Tempa says after this heartwarming thing, Tempa says, "Oh God, I'm choking on my own vomit."
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, I'm done with this."
Clark arrives and Tempest asks him, "Hey, just one thing. Why capes? Why tights?
Dude.
Why lightsabers?" And Clark says,
Yeah,
"My mother made it for me." And I love that. And then they
yeah,
proceed to make out and all this
very
stuff.
genuine.
And H.G. Wells takes Tempest back to some place we don't know just yet, and then Lois and Clark proceed to make out and meet H.G. Wells at the other time machine, and H.G. Wells says, how are we or they're having a conversation about how they're gonna continue, to operate, being Lois and Clark now that she knows. And H.G. Wells appears and says, "Oh,
Well, I'm
I'm
gonna
afraid
take
you
it
can't
back,
know that now. At least not yet, Miss Lane." And that's a pretty cool little nod to future things.
and then
So
takes him back to the original time
yeah,
frame.
yeah, yeah. And they
Oh,
both
but
kind of
not before she
Lois writes a
writes
note. Yeah,
a
Lois
note.
writes a note. She's
Yeah.
like, as H.G. Wells is giving exposition, is going blah 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 blah, and then blah 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 blah. Lois is like, you know what? Fuck this shit. And she's like, Clark is Superman, and she writes
Yes.
it on the back of the birthday card that she's gonna give to the chief.
I would have just sent myself a text, you know?
Well, LJ, we live what is it? We live in a society.
We live
Anyway,
in a society.
uh,
We do.
so she writes it. They send them back, and they both kind of feel that they have this deja vu. And then Lois is like, "Oh, this card," and Clark sees it.
Mm, says
Clark
it on the
is
back.
Superman, and he's like, "No, it's my card. Remember, it's my card. You were
You're
supposed
supposed
to
to
give it
give
to
it to me.
me. Don't you remember that?" It's like, and he didn't even like cards. I don't even like cards anyway. I don't even, and it's just like, ugh. He crumples it up. Man, I would have burned the shit out of that motherfucker. I
Dude,
would have
no
kept
shade,
that
just
with me. I would have, if I was Superman, I would have crumbled it up into the tiniest little dot and like shredded it. You
like,
know?
dust.
Yeah,
Or
just
he
like
he coulda
dust.
just put it between his hands and gone like this, and it would have
Yep,
been dust.
it would have been dust. But no, he's got to throw it in the trash can.
He's
Somebody
gotta be
could
like
pick that up.
he just
You
ripped it
know,
twice. He rips it once, rips it twice, and then throws it in the
but
trash.
this is a lot like Superman 2, where she looks at him and she's like,
Something looks familiar.
nah.
Nah. And you know what? When he rips it the second time, the letter, you
Hmm.
notice he actually struggles to rip it. So
That's
he
good. I
rips
haven't
it
watched
he
that
he rips it once and it's like nothing, and
or
then the
watched
second
that. I
time he
haven't seen it.
goes, he's like he has to
I
give
didn't
it some
notice it,
oomph.
I meant. Oh,
Yep,
really?
he's gotta give it some oomph to rip it the second time because now he's putting 4 pieces of paper together. That's pretty tough, unless you're
Oh, could be
Superman.
Dean Cain, the actor, probably
Yeah,
having
like,
yeah,
physically, like, just being human, like, he couldn't rip
I see
it.
what you mean.
Not because of the kryptonite or anything.
No, not because of the kryptonite.
No, never.
Never.
Never because of that.
LJ, I have here, H.G. Wells walks away. We fade to black. So, I don't know, HBO Max has released these episodes in, like, full HD, and when that cape fell down,
Yeah.
I had never seen there's little dots and textures in the cape that when I was watching this in the 90s, um, I never saw, dude.
Really?
Yeah. No, it was just like it looked like a silk, like the Batman cape. It didn't look like it had like it was cloth woven together. It looked like just a plastic cape.
Like, just cheaply made, maybe?
Yeah, cheap no, cheap effects. Just
Oh,
bad
cheap effects.
television. Alright, let me
Damn.
see here. Let me try to find out how long have we been going? Okay.
I don't know. I think it's been like, an hour and a half?
What time is it though?
It is trivia time,
Trivia time,
motherfuckers.
trivia time. Don't you know it's trivia time? All
That's
right,
it.
LJ. This is the first of 4 appearances from the time traveling fiction author H.G. Wells in this Lois and Clark series. Do you know that?
Wait, say that one more time?
This is one of 4 appearances from the time traveling science fiction author H.G. Wells. So we I guess if there's 4 episodes he's in, then we're gonna watch 4 because this is gonna be part of the
Cool.
series. So and then we'll do some Christmas stuff. But this is I don't know. I'm still not convinced if this is not a Christmas episode.
Is
Anyway.
it? I think it's a birth.
Oh, we already talked about that. Joe Schuster was the creator of Superman, was one of the creators of Superman. That's why it's Schusterfield. And we'll get to something else. We'll talk about Superman and Lois, which is another television show. Anyway, later on.
Later on.
This is the first episode in which Lane Smith, the chief, Professor White, Mr. White, does not appear. The episode takes place in 1955 on May 19th and on May 1966 and 1866. Just 3 time periods. We know that. We just watched it. Oh, yeah. Just the foreshadowing of it's just gonna be weird as it is for you to me, knowing that you're Superman and blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm afraid that can't happen, at least not yet, Miss Lane.
Yep.
Signifying that she will eventually learn who Superman is.
Eventually.
Eventually. So, what'd you think about the episode, my sir? My
This
good
one was
sir.
cool.
Yep.
There was a lot going on, and there was a really funny character, which was the dude. What's his name? The Tempest.
Tempest? Yep.
Tempest Renfield.
That's right.
And him.
Oh yeah, no, he gets locked back in like the prison back in the day.
Oh yeah,
And
he
he's like
does. He's dude, I'm like, people gonna think you're fucking crazy, man, because you're
he's like,
like,
I'm a
why did he
time
get
traveler.
yeah.
I just need to build a time machine and some gold. It's
You don't even know.
great.
Oh, here, look. I caught that scene where he has a hard time. He's like, "Easy," and then watch. See? I know that was very
Maybe he's
subtle.
just acting all the time. Who knows?
Oh, H.G. Wells, rest in peace, homie.
A little over this way. Other way.
Oh shit. Rest in
There
peace,
he
homie.
is. And he
H
walks away, and it's like, "Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo." All right, LJ. We will continue with the Tempest episodes for Lois and Clark. We're gonna get them all in. We're gonna do a Smallville Thanksgiving or Christmas episode or something, uh, or just a Smallville
we
episode and then a Christmas one. We
We'll talk about the Tempest episodes until the end of time.
And I
Yeah.
like you, Cindy. I'm gonna hang out with you. Days, nights, weekends, holidays. I'm gonna
Oh,
hang out with you until the end of times.
fuck
You,
up, yo. You fucking can't ever hear shit, dude.
I can hear you now.
Oh, fuck.
Well, fuck.
You're like, all right, damn.
Recording
Look,
not in progress.
stopped.